Hi guys, good morning. I'm Emil. I'm in charge of sales and customer service at Enju Bonchev, and I would like to show you our distillery, and you're about to see the process of unloading the bags of flowers and loading them afterwards into the stills for distilling. So join me up here at the ramp and we'll see everything as it happens. Здрасти, момчета.
Welcome, how are you?
Thank you. All right. So, David. So the guys will be unloading the bags of rose flowers as I speak. I hope you're able to hear me well. This is an electronic scale which is linked to our tailor-made software system. It automatically takes the weight of the flowers and stores the data in the cloud. Also, my colleague here is taking also measurements and inputting them into the system using this device. As soon as she's done, the guys will distribute the bags around any of these stills, and this is how the first batch is accepted at the distillery. As soon as they distribute them around the stills, they start filling the stills, loading from the hatch, and as soon as they're finished, I will explain to you how the process starts, the process of distillation. What you see here are stainless steel stills, and this is the typical water steam distillation, which is typical not only for Bulgaria but for all the countries that produce essential oils, not only from rose. Now, as you can see, a second trunk comes in. This delivery is bigger than the previous one. I suggest we don't wait for the guys and we go downstairs at the heart of the distillery, where you will be able to see a little bit of the apparatus, and I will explain to you in more detail the process of distillation itself. So follow me downstairs. So you already saw the first step. The flowers get delivered to the distillery and loaded through the hatch into the still. So what happens next? The guys will close the still and steam will start passing under high pressure through the bottom of the still through a serpentine, and it will pass through the mixture of fresh flowers and fresh water under high pressure. It captures the rose oil fractions, creates fumes, and goes through one of these pipes over there, one of these pipes into this column. This one is the cooling column. It's called the cooler. What happens here is the already rich in rose oil fractions fumes meet a serpentine of cold water, and through a simple process, physical process, they liquefy. So up until this point, this is called the first distillation, the first process of distillation. Now what the product of this process is called the first distillate. The first distillate is collected from all three stills and transferred for a redistillation or for the second distillation into this apparatus. These two towers are called the cohobation column. Cohobation. So what happens here is, again, you have steam passing through the distillate. Here there are no more flowers, just distillate. So the steam passes through the distillate, revolves constantly in these two towers, becomes fumes, liquefies, returns back, and so forth and so on until the end of the production day. So this is an ongoing process, an ongoing cycle, whereas here you have one cycle and then you throw away the flowers, which we actually don't throw away, we keep and mix with cow manure to produce compost to nourish our fields. Now it's the most interesting thing of the whole production process. The final step of the process is the taking out of the rose oil. This is our technologist, Genka. She's now taking the weight of the so-called Pyrex glass container, which is a special glass produced in France, especially for essential oils. She's one of the few people in our company authorized to break the seal, the company seal, after each day of production and to take out the rose oil. What you see here is actually a very, very rich second distillate, or basically rose oil. The only thing that needs to happen to this rich distillate before my colleague takes out the rose oil is to enter the so-called Florentine container and separate from the residual waters. My colleague Genka is aided by my other colleague Maria, who is a helping hand at the moment. What you see here is the rose oil flowing through this pipe. Here in the glass you are able to see oil is always lighter than water, so it floats on top, and at one point in this process you will see a very fine line between the oil and the water, and as soon as this line reaches the threshold, my colleague needs to close this valve, otherwise some residual water will flow into the Pyrex glass container. Rose oil is a very, very precious essential oil, the most expensive in the world. Now you see how they close it, and the residual rose oil will flow through here, and my colleague now will again perform the action of closing the valve and putting the annual bunch of seal once more. Now the oil is being weighed on the electronic scale, and we'll see what quantity we produced over the past 24 hours. All right. Coco, how much did we get? So this is close to 3 kilos. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. No. All right. So this is the process. This is the process. from the flowers to the end product, everything happens in this place. So now follow me up. As you can see, the guys are very fast. They've already unloaded the truck and they are distributing the flowers, the bags of flowers around the stills, so as to wait for the next loading of the still. This is it from me here. Next, I suppose you will be going down to the old distillery to see Philip showing you his great-grandfather's work.
Hi guys, you've seen the modern way of distillation with Emil, and now I'm taking you back 100 years ago to the old distillery built by my great-grandfather Inyo Bonchev, where you're going to see the authentic traditional way of production of rose oil and rose water. This is my office. We're passing through my office right now, which I enjoy using in the late afternoons once the engine is moving and the distillation is going on. And we're at the moment in the village of Trnicene, where Inyo Bonchev built in 1909 one of the first rose distilleries in Bulgaria. Inyo Bonchev was from Kazanlak, and he chose this place because of the level of underground water. Water is one of the most important points for a good distillation process. So here we have plenty of water. The level of underground water is approximately 70-80 centimeters, and this is the reason why he situated the distillery here. Let us enter the factory and see the whole process. We start the tour with the delivery of the rose flowers. So every morning, starting from 8-9 o'clock in the morning, we get fresh deliveries of rose flowers from different farmers with whom we've been working for the past 20-25 years. The flowers, as you see, in bags, not more than 12 kilograms each, in order to preserve the quality of the flowers, are brought and put onto the electronic scale. You see the beautiful pink color of the flowers. This is because now the weather has been very favorable in the past 2-3 days, with rain during the morning hours of the day and sunny weather in the afternoon hours of the day. Here we also have the white rose, as you see, which is separately distilled for the production of the white Rosa alba oil and water. So once they're measured, the flowers are brought directly to the still, and the guys start to fill out the stills. What you see here are the old traditional copper stills and copper coolers, which my great-grandfather built and used more than 100 years ago. Here is a photograph of how this distillery looked at that time. You see this gentleman here is Inyo Bonchev, my great-grandfather, and the lady down here is his wife. Inyo Bonchev passed away in 1939, and for the next 8 years his wife continued running the business. But about the history, I'll tell you a little bit more later when we go into the family museum. Let us see now what is happening once the flowers are received. So these guys are distributing the bags. Right now we're having still number 7 filled with rose flowers. Each one of these stills has capacity of approximately 2,000 cubic centimeters, and we are putting approximately 180 kilograms of rose flowers in one of these stills, together with roughly 800-900 kilograms of water. We have one load of the still. So 180 kilograms of rose flowers with 4 to 5 times more amount of the water. What happens after that? After that, we have the gas heaters, which are directly heating the still. My great-grandfather used wood. We're using today gas heaters. So there is no steam, like Emil showed you in the modern distillery. There is no steam passing through the stills. You have the heaters directly heating the stills, and this produces a natural steam which goes through the flowers and then passes into the cooler. So the main difference between the modern distillation and the traditional old distillation is the way of heating of the stills. Steam heating and direct fire, in this case gas heaters, are heating the stills. Then of course the other main difference is that these stills are made of copper. All the new distilleries are using stainless steel for the stills, but here you see the traditional copper material, and of course this reflects on the quality of the product. Now the guys have filled still number 7 and they are putting inside the water. Let's see how it looks inside. Beautiful, huh? Here we have the stills being filled with water, and now they're going to fill the still with the right amount of water, and at the same time they're going to start filling still number 6. They're going to start filling still number 6 with flowers. It's a very difficult job up here because it's hot. The temperature here is about 5-6 degrees warmer than down there. So keeping in mind that this process continues 24 hours a day in the peak days, it's quite a difficult job. Beautiful, fresh, pink rose flowers. Once the stills are being filled with flowers and water, the lids are closed, and we have approximately 2.5 hours of distillation process. After this process is finished, then we move to the next cycle. The stills are opened, then the waste is discarded. We use the waste of the flowers, we use it on our organic fields for compost. So nothing is thrown away. It goes back into nature. The distilleries, both the modern one which you saw earlier together with this one, they're using fully automated control. So the process is controlled by custom-made software, and this of course reflects on the quality and quantity. This is the best way to control, to make the fully automatic system is the best way to control the entire process. Now, at the end of the tour, I take you to the Family Museum of Inyu Bonchev. We accept a lot of tourists during the season. This year is different, so we're doing just the virtual tours. But I want to show, this is Inyu Bonchev's original bag. Here we have collected some old photos. This is Inyu Bonchev. This is his his father. Again, the name is Inyu Bonchev. He was a trader of tobacco. This is Inyu Bonchev at the rose fields with his very nice car. This is Inyu Bonchev with his representative in England. For our Japanese viewers, Koto Osho was here. The Bulgarian sumo wrestler Koto Osho was here a few years ago and visited us. We also have the interesting stationery of Inyu Bonchev. This is the, as you can see, he had agencies and depots in all over the world, in London, Paris, Marseille, Cannes, Graz, Berlin, New York, St. Petersburg, and so on and so on. His telephone number, this is another interesting piece, his telephone number is number 6. And this is the original container, Pyrex glass container for storage of rose oil. In a container like this, you can store rose oil for more than 100 years. Bonchev and Kidov. My great-grandfather had a partner in the first years, Kidov. After that, they separated, and Inyu Bonchev built the factory in Ternichane. So I would like to thank you for being part of the tour today, and certainly hope to see you first in July for our lavender tours, and next year in Ternichane, so we can take you around and show you the Bulgarian Rose Valley, have the opportunity to smell the rose and to see how rose oil is produced. So looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.